So this is the whole price history of Bitcoin, and I'm gonna go into the cycles of Bitcoin and see if we can see any similarities with previous cycles that can help us determine when are we gonna break back above 70K, when are we gonna see the next big blow off top, stuff like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Bitcoin is in a tricky state right now. I need a TA guy. Carl the Moon invested in over 400, maybe 600 crypto startups. He's the top G of Dubai. He's been on the channel before. Carl the Moon's going to take us through the charts today.
Okay, so basically, it's very important to sometimes take a very, very big step back and take a look at the bigger picture. Sometimes in crypto, we zoom in on the 5 minute time frame and we think we're gonna find the answers there, but we don't. So I'm gonna take a look at this chart here. So this is the whole price history of Bitcoin, and I'm gonna go into the cycles of Bitcoin and see if we can see any similarities with previous cycles that can help us determine when are we gonna break back above 70K, when are we gonna see the next big blow off top, stuff like that. So first of all, here you can clearly see that in this cycle back in 2000 and like 13, let me just see if I can put this away here.
14.
Back in
13,
2013, 14, we saw this descending triangle, and then Bitcoin broke down, right? And the interesting thing is, if you go into the next cycle here in 2017, you see a similar descending triangle, and even in this previous cycle, you can see something similar. And the question is then, can we use this information to predict the future? Another thing I want to point your attention to is these red lines. These are the Bitcoin halvings. Very interesting to note here is that after the halving back in 2012, we saw a big bull run. And then in the halving of 2016, big bull run. And of course, you can see the same thing in 2020 after the halving, a big bull run. So it's safe to assume that the next halving, which is coming up in 2024, will lead to a big bull run. Am I right? I mean, this looks somehow very logical, but until this point, a lot of things can happen, and that's what I want to talk about now, like the next few months and the next 12 months maybe. So first of all, after this descending triangle here, we saw a breakdown, which was marking the bear market low of 2015, and from that point it was basically up only. Same here, after this descending triangle, we saw a breakdown marking the low, and after that point we saw up only. Right now, we've seen a breakdown from this descending triangle. And again, you can see here that the similarities are quite striking. And leading into the halvings here, we've seen the same thing over and over. And I would suggest we're going to see the same thing again. Basically, I think we're very close to the bottom right now. If not, we've already seen the bottom. Okay, so if you take this bear market low here and measure that point, and measure to the point where Bitcoin broke back above the previous all-time high, which in this case was $1,100 approximately. That took 115 weeks. Basically 115 weeks from the low up to breaking above the high, and then is essentially starting the bull run. So let's take a look at the next cycle from the low after breaking down here. And then it took here approximately 100 weeks, 103 weeks to break above 20K again after, we had this blow off top there. So we had 115 weeks, now 100 weeks. So let's just take 100 weeks just to make it simple, because it seems to be somehow reasonable. From the low here, you could take different points, but let's take the lowest point we have here and just extend this out to 70K and 100 weeks into the future. This would give us something like this, where we could break above $70,000 in October of 2024. So it looks like maybe it will take another year for Bitcoin to basically go sideways and up until we see that big break above the 70K level. But of course, I mean, going from where we are now up to 70K, that's a 300% increase. So you could call this a bear market, or you can also, if you zoom in, you can actually see a smaller bull market there, because I mean 300% up, that would be a bull market, right? But would still be in the bear cycle depending on how you measure it. But I mean, this is a bear cycle until the halving. This is a bear cycle until the halving. I would suggest this is a bear cycle until the halving. And long story short, before the halving, we're very likely to see Bitcoin stay below 70K and basically range around the area of, like, let's say 40K to 10K. Like, you know, depending on what's going to happen in the next few months here, it's going to be very interesting to see. But all in all, I think that the cycle theory here is still intact. The halvings are still gonna happen every 4 years. No one is gonna change that. The Bitcoin fundamentals are the same like they've ever been before. Bitcoin is stronger as it's ever been before. More people are using Bitcoin. We see the central banks are printing money like never before in the past few years. So the fundamentals of Bitcoin are stronger than ever before, which indicates, in my opinion, that this trend of Bitcoin going up year over year, cycle over cycle, will continue. And yeah, this was just like my, realistic outlook of Bitcoin without doing too much hyping or fearing or fudding. This is just like taking a step back, taking a look at the cycles. So I don't know, what do you think about that?
I love it. That's what we need right now. We want to keep things real. Based on what you said and what I'm looking at, and again, this is like a zoomed out cycle outlook. Tomorrow, the price could shoot up $1,000, $2,000, or shoot down $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. But zooming out, based on prior cycles and based on what we know about Bitcoin, and based that Bitcoin is fundamentally just as strong, if not stronger, in many, many areas than it has ever before, where we are right now is very close, if not at the bottom, very near the bottom. And, you know, it's probably not going to go down much lower. However, it's not going to just shoot up past 70,000 this year, or you're saying even not necessarily, it's not likely even in 2023, but based on historical data, Q4 of 2024 would be a good time to be looking for Bitcoin to break above 70.
Exactly, which also means that now is the perfect time to accumulate, to invest in potentially crypto startups. Is that, if that's something you want to do, or just invest in yourself and build your own business, this is the time to be grinding. The previous bear market, actually, that's where I created like all of my, like everything I'm doing today. Most of it was done in the previous bear market, actually, when there was very low hype. I was building businesses, I was building fundamentals, investing in Bitcoin, I was buying so much crypto. And then in the bull market, I was reaping the rewards. And, most of the money, most of the wealth is usually made in the bear market, not in the bull market. And I know that people say that, but it's really true. Like I'm a living example of that. I think we have to plant seeds. That's what we're doing in the bear market. You take seeds, you plant them, and then you just put water on them, and then you need patience. And then in the bull market, the seeds will be beautiful trees, and you can pick down your rewards. So that's how I like to view it. But patience is key.
I love it. Carl, do you think now, with Bitcoin being around 15,000, maybe it's less, maybe it's a little bit more, a lot of people, that's a lot of money, but a lot of people might have the chance to accumulate one whole Bitcoin over the next 3 months. Do you think that's a good goal?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it's very relative and individual to people, like how much money they have in their bank accounts to be able to invest in crypto. But having one Bitcoin somehow is the ultimate goal, right? Because then you have one full Bitcoin. There can never be more than 21 million. So you own one whole Bitcoin out of these 21 million. You're in the 1 million club or 21 million club, whatever you want to call that. And it just, in my opinion, I think it's a great goal, yes. But where does that end? Like when you have one Bitcoin, you just want 10, right? And then you want 100, then you want 1,000, then you want 10,000. And, I've been through these steps and you never want, or you always want more. But I agree with you, one is good. But I mean, some people, they would be super happy just to have 0.1 or even 0.01. So it's really individual. But all in all, right now, the prices are incredibly cheap. That is true. So whatever your goal is, now is the time to reach the goal. That is for sure. Bitcoin is going to be worth millions of dollars in the future per coin. That's what I believe. And I think that in the next cycle, Bitcoin is with a very high degree of certainty going to go to 300,000 up to $1 million, which basically means that we're going to see a nice bull run and great rewards for those that buy cheap.
I think Bitcoin could get to 200,000, 250,000. I mean, I think definitely I've drank the Kool-Aid, so make your own decisions, do your own research, but yeah. Carl, thank you so much for joining us today. Give the Altcoin Daily audience final thoughts and tell us what's new with you, what's new with medieval empires maybe.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, guys, stay strong in the bear market. It's not going to be forever. It's only temporary. I've been through this before. You've been through this before, bro. We know that this is just time to accumulate. And yeah, the newest thing that I'm part of is, like you said, Medieval Empires. It's a crypto game. It's a strategic game where you have your villages. You can attack other people's villages. And it's a play and earn game. And the cool part is that you can build your own city on your land, your NFT land, and if you make yourself valuable, your land valuable, then people will come and use your land, and then you can put taxes. You can tax people high or low depending on the value of your land, and people will leave or come depending. So it's like a social experiment. I think it's going to be very fun to see how that plays out. But me and Engin Altan Düzyatan, who's a incredibly well-known actor. We're gonna play against each other or maybe with each other. Let's see. And other cool, famous people have also joined in to be like, we're gonna have these tribes. Would love to see you also on the battlefield out there too.
I'd love to play a game or two. And that actor you just named is a big deal. Not a household name in America, but like the Brad Pitt of Dubai or, that region.
Of Middle East. He's actually way more famous than Brad Pitt. So he's part
Whoa.
of a yeah, I mean, it's actually true. Like if you look at his fan base, it's like it's really insane because of this TV series where it's actually bigger than Game of Thrones, where he's playing this historical figure called Ertugrul, and that's what the game is all about. So he's a co-founder. He's a yeah, he's gonna be the face for this game, and it's gonna be really interesting to see his fan base come in and play this game. And I'm super excited. I love these games. I love the strategic games, and the team is incredible because of Engin Altan, because of his being so famous. The game people from the game industry, many of them, they quit their job to come join the company because they want to work for him. They want to work for this big brand. So I think that's very cool. The team is incredible, and I'm super excited.
Good to hear. Carl, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.